guys, so there is Brasstown Bald, the highest peak of Georgia. We're in the parking lot below it. I think it's maybe a half mile or 3/4 of a mile, so we're gonna hike up there. Banks is sporting her new Chimney Rock hat that we got, our Great Smoky Mountains hat that we got yesterday in Chimney Rock. We've had a good day so far. I did want to show y'all, stand right there, Banks. So see right there, well, there's two things there. One is that's a privy. Forget about the privy. See that thing is a satellite truck. And we were watching the satellite dish spin around like this. We think they're tracking aliens, right?
We think they're tracking weather.
Oh, okay. Maybe I thought they were tracking aliens. All right, so we're up. So I think this is just a tragedy.
Your
Banks,
dog is not allowed to smoke on this trail.
Your dog is not allowed to smoke on this trail. Banks told me a joke yesterday. She said, you know when a junior joke becomes a dad joke? Tell him, Banks.
When it becomes apparent.
So I think that was a dad joke. The park office is closed. I guess because it's out of season, maybe. Ooh, 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 C-130s. We saw some C-130s traveling yesterday too. They were flying real low. It was neat. Memorial to a judge of the Georgia Supreme Court who helped make this construction possible. So that's right. Good for you, Judge. Way to have a good heart and a good spirit.
Hey, we want to actually see Mom today, so you can let me step on the cracks. You remember at the back.
Oh, okay. So the plan has been to summit Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, the highest peaks in every state, but we're not going to, are we, Banks?
No. Nope.
Why not?
Because, well, two reasons. One is Mama misses us, and two, we miss Mama.
And so what are we going to do?
We're going to go home.
We're going to leave Brasstown Bald and go home to see our mama.
And honestly, is it Cheehaw or Cheehaw?
Well, it just depends on what part of Alabama you're from.
Okay, well, we're calling it Cheehaw. We're going to skip out on that one, but it's okay because we live in that state.
That's right.
But walking down is going to be so fun.
Few things are better than a well-placed rock on a steep hill. And we found one. And this is a really steep hill with no switchbacks. And it's been rough. And we're pretty good hikers, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
But this one's got to. Of course, we did just eat lunch, so we're fat right now, too.
I mean, you are. Because look, this mountain's higher than that one. And we're not even going to talk about it.
We've come a long ways. What we're going to do is go up here and it's going to switch back to the right.
This is muddy water.
Water. With a little bit of mud in it.
Come back. He's over here slow cooking for anybody who knows.
So I don't remember where.
I was smiling for a picture.
What?
That was smiling for a picture.
Oh, sorry. So I don't remember where we left off. We were fixing to tell them why we were not going to go to Cheehaw. What did we say?
Oh, we already told him that.
We did because we want to go see Mama. So we're going to go home this afternoon, cuddle up with her, give her a big, wet, sloppy kiss. Oh, well, I'll do that. You can just hug her.
Yeah, I'm more hugging.
But you're not sleeping in my bed tonight.
I love Mama.
You can, but after that, you'll have to go get in your own bed. Okay. And then we'll come back to Cheehaw later. It's been a great trip, hasn't it, Banks?
It has been.
What's your favorite part so far?
My favorite part was Sassafras Mountain.
Yeah, the sunset at Sassafras was pretty amazing. Sassafras is this big point, right? And so you can see all the way around you, which made it really unusual.
It's 360 degrees.
Yep. And then that, and then being on top of Mount Rogers in the open spots where you could see off both sides of the ridge, that was pretty awesome to me too.
My favorite part at Mount Rogers was the ponies and that little bowl that we sat in.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. Going up, we only saw one pony, and we thought, well, we were fortunate. We felt fortunate to see that one pony.
Then we saw like 6 more.
Yeah, coming back down, we saw them all over the place. Banks even got really close to one, and I think, did you get to pet another one?
I got to pet one, but it wasn't really a pet though. I held out my hand to let it sniff it so it wouldn't be scared, and then I just kind of brushed it.
I got you. But we didn't feed them. Anyway, it's pretty neat. Yep. The best part of all, though,
Spending time with each other.
this one right here. We've been singing a lot to girl songs in the truck.
He doesn't like my songs.
But I sing to him, don't I?
Yeah, he does.
But you learned some new songs, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
I made you. You listened to 2 new songs this morning. Tell them what they were. I mean,
the ones from No Doubt.
Yeah, no, not from No Doubt. From Forever Country.
Well, I knew those songs.
Yeah, well, had you ever heard them in the original versions? Okay. What were they?
On the Road Again.
Yep.
What was the other one? There were 3. The one by Dolly Parton is called "I'll Always Love You."
Yep.
And then
West Virginia. Mama. Yeah.
Country Roads.
Country Road by John Denver. That's right. We listened to those this morning. They were good. All right. See y'all at the top. So we're about 3/4 of the way up. Brasstown Bald's a really steep trail. I'm going to say it's a moderate trail. It is not for the faint of heart. Luckily, there are a lot of benches along the way, so we're stopping at our second rest stop. But what's funny is an older fella just walked by and he said, "Just 1 more mile, don't worry." And he started laughing. It reminded me of how many times I've told the girls as we were hiking or kayaking, they'd say, "How much further?" I say, "Just 1 more mile, 1 more mile, 1 more mile."
Over and over until we got there.
And so it's become kind of a running joke in our family that if you ask me how far till we get to something, I'm going to say just 1 more mile. So apparently there's another dad in the world that thinks the same way I do. So right here, this is a big fir tree or spruce tree maybe. And it looks like the Park Service came in here because it was washing out from underneath it. And they built this kind of kickstand out of rocks for it. It's a pretty neat idea. Pretty good way to try to save an old majestic tree. I'm glad they did that. Yeah, hey. Why don't they tell us we could drive up here, Banks?
All this? We could have drove? Are you kidding me?
Oh, the hike makes it so much more worthwhile. But don't worry, Banks. We only have about another mile to go. So we're up on the observation deck at Brasstown Bald. We're going to walk around the circle. This is more or less looking north. So let's see. North Carolina, Georgia. You can see a long ways. I'm going to zoom in.
Any quarters?
Zoom in on that lake, big lake down there. This is neat. So we're in the top of Georgia. Banks is fixing to look at a thing from Seacoast Manufacturing Company, 744 Middle Street, Fairhope, Alabama. Which happens to be where I'm from. Fairhope, Alabama. There's my trail, that's where I'd want to hike. Straight out that ridge, all the way down to the valley floor below.
I see you.
There's the observation tower that we think unfortunately is closed. We don't think we can go up there. That might be just for like employees only. It's a pretty cool looking building. Looks like a air traffic control place where they would direct airplanes. Here we have all the Georgia mountains and part of the Appalachian Trail. Appalachian Trail is 2,190 miles long, goes through 14 states. It ends at Springer Mountain in Georgia. Now here we're looking almost due south. So these are all the mountains of Georgia. Let's see, this is Atlanta, right in here. Of course, I can't see it. I'm just looking at this little map that tells me that. Looks like some storm clouds might be brewing, Banks. Sure is hazy out there today. You understand when you're up here and you look at all those layers of mountains and the different tints and hues they have to them, you understand why people call them the Blue Ridge Mountains, because they all look blue, don't they? And then you understand why they call them the Smoky Mountains, because they all look smoky.
We're walking.
Yeah, we're walking. They said there's a shuttle that runs here that starts on April 1st.
It's literally like April 29th. Is that right?
Well, it's literally like March 29th.
March 29th,
Yes.
sorry. March.
You know what's weird is the wind's been blowing so much that I'm scared. Like I've been so used to holding my hat everywhere we've been, you know. And now the slightest little breeze blows and I'm scared I'm gonna lose it.
You know, it says like vandalism, like you're not supposed to do it, like they catch it on camera. And literally every single towel on this thing is vandalized and no one's in trouble.
Yeah, the signs didn't do much to deter it, did they, Banks?
There's no west sign.
Yes, National Park Service. We're disappointed. Alabama feels slighted. We're looking due west from the observation point, and somewhere out there is the Alabama state line. But they didn't give us a sign to read.
No one likes Alabama.
Well, we like Alabama. If you ask me, it's the greatest state in the Union. And it's out there. No. Now you would say the Union because all of the states are back in one union. We are all one accord.
You said we were Confederates.
When, in the Civil War, Alabama was in the Confederacy. And the North was the Union. But now that all the states have recombined, we are now all part of one great union.
Okay.
Did you take 4th grade Alabama history?
Yes, I did. But, I remember 4th grade.
So anyway, there's home. That's where our heart is, and that's where we're going. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Let's roll. So Banks was just making fun of me for saying let's roll.
This sounds weird.
And it's something that I've said for years. And some of you may know why I say let's roll. I know that Bay does because she's old enough to remember. But on September 11th, 2001, one of the greatest tragedies that ever hit our nation was the terrorist attack on 9/11.
I remember the firefighter said, didn't the firefighter say let's roll? And he went and passed out the fire.
That's pretty close. Yeah, it's starting to come back to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so on United Flight 93, which went down in Pennsylvania, there were a group of civilians who had cell phones, and they had realized that the flight had been hijacked, and they knew that the World Trade Center had been attacked. And one of those guys called his wife, and he told her how much he loved her, and he said he had to go, and he said, let's roll. And that's how he signed off every time he talked to her. Every time he said, every time he said, goodbye to her, that's what he said. He said, let's roll. So she knew when he said that she would never talk to him again, and she didn't. But you know what? Because of those men on that plane, there were a lot of people that were saved, and so they died heroes, and I'm thankful. So tell them about the highest point in Florida.
Okay, so the highest point in Florida, y'all should look it up. It's kind of sad. It's literally a hill. Like, all you Florida people out there, I don't mean to offend your state, but that is not a mountain. That is a literal hill. Like, the hill that my house is on is that big.
And it is, the highest point in Florida is just about 45 minutes from our house. And we drive past it all the time on our way to Defuniak Springs, I think it is.
And I could never tell you that it was the highest point because it literally looks like a hill.
And I think it's like 300 feet above sea level. So, yeah, Banks is probably right. The hill we live on is probably taller than that. So.